Hey guys, it's your girl Rochelle here for Hardwood Diva. We are here on October 15th, Friday, and I am doing my NFL Week 6 picks. I wanted to thoroughly apologize for missing last week. Things just got really crazy, very busy. That's no excuse. This is my job. I should be doing this. But I did want to let you know that I'm sorry, so sorry. But I definitely want to make sure this week that I get you your picks, even though I'm going to be out of town. So I wanted to do that today. So, first up for this week, we've got Miami versus Green Bay. Now, this is a very good game. Miami's been doing pretty well. I believe they're actually 2-0 right now on the road. And this might have been a better game for the Packers had their team not been so decimated by injury right now. Aaron Rodgers kind of up in the air. He got a concussion last week. So this should be very interesting. But Miami is playing on all cylinders right now. Even though this is tough for me because I picked Green Bay to go pretty far this year, I'm going to have to say right now Miami's got this game. They just seem like they're going to be the better team on the field this weekend. So we're going to have to go with them. Next up, we've got San Diego versus St. Louis. Now, San Diego lost last week to the Oakland Raiders. They haven't done that in I don't know how many years. So it's kind of ridiculous. I'm not really sure what's going on with San Diego. They usually do kind of have a early season little spell where they're not doing too well, but losing to the Raiders is just never really a part of that. So I'm not really sure. St. Louis, on the other hand, though, is not doing too well themselves. They're a young team. Things are, kind of getting better for them, but I just don't see San Diego losing to the St. Louis Rams. I mean, I didn't see them losing to Oakland Raiders, but I can't see that happening 2 games in 2 weeks. So I'm going to have to go with San Diego for this one. Next up, Baltimore versus New England. Now, New England's going to have to do this week without Randy Moss after he was dealt away a week and a half ago. Went back to Minnesota, so now he's with Brett. Probably not the best timing for them. If you have to go up against Baltimore, I definitely would not want one of the best receivers in the game ever to not be on the field for me. But, whatever. New England knows what they're doing. So personally, with all that said, I'm going to have to go with Baltimore. It's just the better team overall as far as defense and even offense. They've got Ray Rice. Flacco, I've always liked that guy. He's pretty good quarterback, so I'm going to have to go with Baltimore. Next up, Cleveland versus Pittsburgh. Poor Cleveland. Now they're going to be starting Colt McCoy, who I think is amazing that he gets to start as a rookie. However, it sucks. It's got to be versus Pittsburgh, who's massacring folks right now. So the easy pick for this one is Pittsburgh. Sorry. Hope you do well though, Colt, or at least stay on your feet. But sorry, Cleveland's not going to do it. Next up, we've got Kansas City versus Houston. Now, Kansas City came into the season doing really well. They had a couple losses. It's not a loss, 2 losses. I mean, they're not doing terribly. But no one really expected much of them. So it's kind of even if they aren't doing so well, they're still doing better than expected. Houston, on the other hand, though, in my opinion, should have been much better. They've lost some pretty costly games versus my Dallas Cowboys, versus the New York Giants. So I'm just not really sure kind of where they're headed, what they're up to. Guess we'll have to see in this game. I think they're the team. I think they'll win. I think they need to win more, so I personally think they will. They'll get it done. But if they don't, it's going to be really interesting. They started off the season really well, beating Indianapolis, but it's kind of not been so well the last couple of weeks. But for their sake, I'm hoping they're able to pull this one off. Next up, Detroit versus the Giants. Now, the Giants, kind of the quiet team in New York right now, just because of everything that's going on with the Jets, and the Jets are actually doing well. But Giants have been, kind of quietly getting better. Didn't start off so well, but I think they're doing much better this season. Definitely have a chance in the NFC East, which is just muddled and crazy. So, it's just kind of really up in the air what's going to happen with those teams, but I'm definitely going to have to go with the Giants in this game. Detroit is doing well, but I just don't see them beating the Giants. That's just me. Atlanta and Philly. This is going to be interesting. Atlanta's doing pretty well. Um, I honestly think that they can get this one. I think Atlanta would be able to get this one. Kevin Kolb is, played well last week. Since the Eagles don't have Mike Vick after their week 4 when they lost him for a couple of weeks. But, Kevin Kolb did roll last week. They beat the 49ers. But I'm still going to have to say I think Atlanta's going to get this one. They've been doing really well this season. Seattle and Chicago. I'm going to go with Chicago. Both of these teams are kind of up and down. One day they look really amazing. The next time they look terrible. Chicago, their quarterback situation just because of Cutler being injured a couple of games ago. It's kind of still up in the air. But I think Chicago should be able to get this one. Then we've got New Orleans and Tampa Bay. New Orleans is not looking like the team last year. But then again, everyone's gunning for them this year. So things are going to be different. They lost Reggie Bush for a while. Pierre Thomas is now out. So their running game is kind of just disfigured and marred. I'm going to still go with them just because I think they still have the better team on the field. But Tampa Bay's doing really well, so they need to watch out. New York Jets versus Denver. Jets. I believe Sanchez hasn't thrown a interception so far this season. Since that first, I think it was week 1 when they lost. I think they've been, firing on all cylinders then. It's been kind of questionable with Revis's injury, but Cromartie has definitely stepped up and has kind of become the shutdown corner with Revis not doing so well and, still been injured. So I'm going to go with the Jets. They're still playing pretty well, and I just don't really see Denver doing anything that's going to stop that. Oakland versus San Francisco. Now, this is always fun for me because I have friends that live the Raiders, and they hate when I pick against them. The Raiders, in my opinion, are almost always the underdog. And yes, even versus the 0-5 49ers, I still technically think they're the underdog. Campbell's back at it. He played pretty well last week when they beat the Chargers. I don't know. Just something in my spirit never allows me to vote for the Raiders. So I'm going to say San Francisco might get their first win. Sorry. Don't be mad at me.